Okay, we're live, we're recording. Great. So, welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for everything, your love and support. Today, we're going to be doing the sign of Aries for the month of October, and this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising. We're going to peer into the energies that are taking place for this month. We are currently undergoing a lunar eclipse, which is going to be in the sign of Virgo. So if you have Virgo in any parts of your chart, especially your moon, it should be quite a bit of a purging, cleansing time for you. Other than that, just take what resonates, leave the rest, and we'll go from there. So going into this, if you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates from future postings. Feel free to also chuck me a few quid if you want to support my coffee habit. And additionally, be aware of any fraudulent people, pretending to be tarot readers online. Oh, go to my Telegram. Oh, go to my WhatsApp. We'll give you a reading. Then you never get that reading after you give them 100 quid. And yolks on your face. So that said, we're going to go ahead and get into this for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, for the month of October 2025 until the end of October 2025. Let's see. All right. What's taking place for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of October 2025? Let's get those energies going. Okay, current energies. All right, great. What's the challenge? What has happened in the recent past? What's taking place in the near future? What's at the core of everything? What's at the crown? And what is going to be the outcome for October 2025? Oof. Clarify that. Clarify that. And one more. What's that all about? The outcome. Okay. All right. So here we have at the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess in the reverse, which indicates a need, in some cases, to follow your intuition and to be sure that you're following the right form of intuition, not simply your thoughts, but your actual intuition, and understanding the difference between your ego self and your higher self, so that way you can make the right choices guided by spirit. Now, we look at this, and we have in the center of all of this reading, we have the Triumph card, which is the Chariot. And the Chariot talks about making forward progress after a period of kind of contemplating, after you make the choice, which is in card number 6 of the Major Arcana, which is the Lovers, which are the lovers. You then move into, after making the choice, then taking action, and then that propels your life into an entirely different space and different realm. So it's about rapid change, rapid transformation, and progress, represented by puberty in the individual, where they are rapidly shifting from being a child to being an adult. And that is also a Cancerian card as well, which is indicative of that same process. The challenge that I see here that you face, Aries, is the Knight of Swords. So it's like, yes, I'm making forward progress, but I don't want to act too hastily or to come off as too combative. Now, in most cases, we would just say that the Aries way of doing things, just like being stubborn is the Taurian way. You know, the stereotypes that exist about each of the different signs. We could at least say that in this particular case, you are aware of that and you want to make sure that you are progressing forward. You're making rapid moves to your goal, but you're not doing it in a sloppy or shoddy way. In the recent past, you had the Four of Cups in the reverse, which can talk about missing out on opportunities and in many ways rejecting opportunities. Clarify this, just to be sure. Yeah. So, Eight of Pentacles, clarifying Four of Cups in the reverse. This could go one of two ways. Either A, you rejected or you missed out on an opportunity for a new type of work. Or maybe that your work that you put into something was fully rejected by someone and it ended up in a missed opportunity. So maybe you made some efforts towards things that went unnoticed or that were not reciprocated, things of that nature. Or sometimes that you wanted a specific type of work, but you missed out on an opportunity to achieve that. And so now that is no longer viable. You're moving into a new energy. You have the Nine of Wands in the reverse in the near future. I'll clarify what that means so that we're a bit more certain. Clarify the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Eight of Cups in the reverse. Interesting. Nine of Wands in the reverse, Eight of Cups in the reverse signals something you don't want to walk away from. It leaves you feeling drained. Normally in the Nine of Wands in the upright, someone is nearly at the finish line. And there's a part of you that wants to completely give up on whatever this is that you have worked really hard for. We're going to ask the question, what are you working towards? Okay, that card wants to come out. Someone in your life feels guilty. They have worked behind your back to do certain things. And you're trying to find a way to proceed and make progress on it, despite almost feeling stabbed in the back, or maybe like a secret has come out in your life. And now you're trying to ask yourself, okay, now that the cat's out of the bag, what do we do about it? How do we make this forward progress? And it seems like maybe the forward progress you've wanted to make to heal this situation is now not being recognized by the people you work with. So if, for example, if this is in work, you feel that every time you make an effort to move forward and make progress, you want to do it in a way that is peaceful, that everyone benefits from it. But it seems like there's always that nagging feeling in the back of your mind that what you've experienced really did cut you deeply and it did hurt. However, you do want to make progress to at least keep a rein on things, to be able to, instead of coming out and lashing out against the people who've done you wrong, you actually instead want to address the old wounds. And then after that, find a path forward that is amicable for everyone. However, in this case, unlike some of the other signs I read for, this one seems like you're almost at the point where you're at burnout, like complete burnout from trying to sort this out. So if you're married, for example, and you've got an absolute bellend of a partner or husband or wife, and it's like you want them to change for the better to preserve the relationship, but in essence what's actually taking place is that this person is sapping your energy completely from your spirit and leaving you a husk of a shell. We'll clarify this a little bit more. I want to see what this is about. Clarify. Yeah, it's Three of Wands in the reverse. It's like you don't see your ships coming in. And so I would say this is a warning. If you continue on the current path of trying to really work towards something that is actually not giving back, where it's unrequited, you're going to end up in this burnout energy. I'm not going to bullshit you about that. And with these three cards, Nine of Wands, the Three of Wands, both in the reverse, Eight of Cups in the reverse, you're not going to want to walk away from something that's taking all of your energy away from you anyway. So one of these things is going to leave the relationship. Either your soul or your body are going to have to leave this relationship, or this tied to certain things. I mean, it's understandable because you really want to manifest something with this individual in your life, whether it's a job, whether it's a partner, whether it's family members. You really want to manifest something that is going to be of lasting, significance to you. Clarify the Magician. I think what you're trying to do is also get clarity on things as well. Slowly illuminate what is all taking place. Maybe this is like, you say some people have skeletons in the closet. Well, you've actually stumbled into an entire graveyard, or maybe even a shallow graveyard, which may not be the best of circumstances to discover. And a lot of this is difficult for you to take in. So whoever you're dealing with, say for example, this was a company and you're like, I really want to make this company succeed and thrive. But then you find out the boss is banging the secretary. You find out that they've also stolen like millions of pounds or dollars or euros from the company. You find out there's all sorts of defects and problems with the way things have gone. And overall, it's like you're on a sinking ship and you're trying to plug the holes with chewing gum and cellophane tape. And of course, we all know what that leads to. Disaster. What you see consciously is that you still want the clarity on all of the all of the difficulties, the pain, the trauma, and the backhandedness that has taken place within this order. If this was a relationship, you've been with your wife for 20 years, all of a sudden you find out some nasty secrets, or your secrets have come out as well. And now this is kind of like a situation where you kind of want to work on things to preserve them, but it's not really healthy dynamics that are taking place here. I don't really see that because whilst you can get clarity on what took place behind your back and someone may feel guilty, getting that clarity is one thing. Doing something about it is a completely different thing. And I just don't think that it's going to be viable without real change and real transformation, especially when we see ourselves moving into the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands in the reverse, and then the Eight of Cups in the reverse. 9 plus 3 is 12. That's Three of Wands in the reverse. We did get the Three of Wands again for the future when that all comes, back to its original number. So here's what's going to happen. And should you continue on the path that you have right now, I do see here at the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse, which indicates a lack of clarity. I'm going to clarify one more time. Clarify the Six of Cups. Okay, so got two sevens. The seven that came out at the top of the deck was the Seven of Pentacles, and then you have the Seven of Wands. So with these two, putting these two together is like, is this worth fighting for? Is this something that I really want to invest my time, energy into? Should I go kind of like, should you go balls out, basically, if you want to say that, bollocks out, if you want to say it? And is this going to be worthwhile in the long term with all of this stress that it's causing me? What is it exactly that I'm pursuing in all of this that is actually conducive to my life? What am I gaining from this? Is it a bunch of stress? The Queen of Swords always tells us that we need to be clear and direct and communicate about the things that cause us this stress. And additionally, after we've done that, we can then reevaluate what it is that we need to accomplish and what we need to achieve with our own goals. Sorry, I'm looking back at the computer to make sure that it's still recording because the last time it switched off on me and I was not very happy about doing 25 minutes worth of blathering, only to find that it didn't record the entire way through. Anyways, then after that you have the Six of Cups. I think that a lot of this clarity that you're seeking in this whole dynamic between yourself and another person is really done because you want answers and you want things to go back to the way that they were. And you're willing to fight for it if it's worthwhile. But I don't know if you have the energy or the stamina in order for you to sustain that fight. We're going to get a Lenormand card. I finally pronounced it correctly. We're going to get a Lenormand card from the Steampunk Lenormand to get some extra clarity on the message. Okay. So we have laurels. I'm going to quickly read into what those actually signify. But from my understanding, it's kind of like a bit of a celebration. Sometimes we have the expression resting on your laurels, on the achievements that you have had in the past that you have celebrated. But in the book, these are lilies actually. So it means longer length of time, age, experience, passful, and peaceful. And I see a person who does kind of want to keep the peace. Whether or not this is going to be healthy in the long term, or if you need to just throw everything out altogether, that is really going to be up to you. I think that it's going to be important for you to give a proper assessment of what has taken place in your past and finally give it some credence that maybe you're beating a dead horse. I don't know if I want to say it that way, or if you're just I'm getting this song, Ring Around the Rosies. I don't know why, because we have these lilacs. And I remember there was a poem, Where the Lilacs Bloom. And it was about the assassination of, probably shouldn't say that word on YouTube, sorry about that. It's about the unalivement of a political figure. I think it may have been Abraham Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put that in the notes where I can find where the actual quote is about. But it's about, we would use lilacs in the past. And maybe if I can dredge this up from my knowledge of, American and English history and poetry and literature, you would use lilacs to cover up the scent of the dead and the decaying, because there were very few embalming techniques at that time to preserve people who had recently deceased. So in this case, when we have these lilacs, it does kind of cover up things for a time until the stench is unbearable. And that is hopefully by that time the person is already put in the ground and they have their peaceful, rest of eternity there, or until whatever happens. I feel like you're putting these lilacs on a situation that has already run past its course. I will be honest with you, and I will not bullshit or sugarcoat my readings. Really think about what you're fighting for, because you may actually get it, or it will get you. I'm going to pull some advice. I don't want to leave you like that. What advice do you have in this reading? Okay. All right. So, I pulled 3 cards of advice, and it's telling me exactly what I was telling you. Number 1, have that honest conversation about yourself. This is the Page of Swords. Have that honest conversation about yourself, about what this really means to you, rather than staying in this limbo about where you think you need to be or what you should be doing with your life and all that. Then move on, allow yourself to move on from a difficult situation. If you're in a bad relationship, get divorced, live your life anew. If you're in a bad job or in a bad circumstance, find a way to resolve it, or get out the job, find a new one. And also, let this die. Let this die. Do not keep fighting for this. Because a failure to go through that transformation. You're only delaying the inevitable, and that's what the lilacs actually represent here. These are about delaying the process of decay, or at least covering it up, so that way you don't have to face what's really going on. I would strongly suggest you to let go of whatever it is you're fighting for. This is my advice. You do what you want. There is free will. I can only give advice. But I'll leave it at that. This is a very heavy message for it, especially for the Aries. I don't apologize for it, but it is what it is. So that said, thank you for joining Aluminum Tarot today. And hopefully, if this was of use to you, I'm not sure if you necessarily liked the message, but if you gained something from this, feel free to like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And also, if you'd like to support me monetarily, chuck me a few quid. That's it. Thank you very much for your time and attention. All the best to you on this lunar eclipse in Virgo. And until next time, love and light. Take care.